guys, it is April from Getting Hookah With It. Today I wanted to do a June TBR for you. I don't usually do TBRs, but I've got a bunch of books out from the library that I'm hoping to read this month anyway, so I thought I would do this little video for you. So let's get into it. First book is something I'm reading right now that I highly doubt I'll be able to finish by the end of May, and that is The Exorcist by William Peter Blatty. Is it Blatty or Blady? I don't know, but I am really enjoying this so far. This is a story of possession about a little girl named Reagan who becomes possessed by a demon, and it's very creepy. I had watched the movie version of this, a few times. I think I've watched it about 5 times over the course of my life. And you know, sometimes it's a bit nerve-wracking to go back and read a book after you've seen the movie, but I'm really enjoying it so far. So I am buddy reading this right now with Vicky from chapter 32. And then also Laura from the Library, and we're all really enjoying it so far, so I'm going to continue on with that. I'm also planning on reading The Trouble with Goats and Sheep by Joanna Cannon. This takes place in summer of 1976, and we follow 2 little girls who are on the hunt for their missing neighbor. Their neighbor, Mrs. Crazy, has gone missing, and Grace and Tilly decide that they're going to take matters into their own hands. And it's kind of a growing up story mixed with a mystery, and I've heard only amazing things about this. Very happy to be reading this in the summer. So yes, that's gonna go down. I'm also going to read Behind Her Eyes. This is about a single mother who goes out one night for a drink. She meets a man at this bar. They kiss. The next day, she's not thinking too much of it, but she goes into work where she's starting a new job, and there's the man, and he is her boss. She also bumps into Adele, who just happens to be her boss's wife, and it sounds like there's something really weird going on in the marriage, and I'm very, very excited to read this one. So I'm gonna read that. I am also planning on reading, and I don't even know how to hold this, Uzumaki, and this is a graphic novel that Rachel over at the Shades of Orange recommended, and it's about this phenomenon that's happening to this town where people are seeing spirals everywhere, and I don't know why that's scary, but apparently it's a horror book and it's absolutely petrifying. And I'm kind of excited to read it because you read it like the opposite way than we're used to. So I'm super excited to pick this up and dive in. I don't know what's scary about spirals, but Rachel said that she was absolutely terrified reading this, and that it was so just creepy and disturbing, and that she just loved it. So I'm very excited to read this. I'm also hoping to pick up Spark, the Revolutionary New Science of Exercise and the Brain. And this is about the benefits of exercise. I'm hoping that reading about exercise will make me want to exercise. Do you think it's gonna work? I don't know. I used to love exercising. I used to be actually insanely fit, and I would exercise 2 hours a day, no problem, loved it. And now I don't do that. And so I'm hoping to get back into exercise because I remember the high that you would get after a workout, especially cardio, more than strength training, but that might have just been me. And so I would like to know the science behind that, and it just sounded like a really interesting book, so I picked that one up. And then another library book is Red Clocks. This is a dystopian world in which women don't have very many rights to their own bodies. So essentially the government has given unborn babies' rights. So, for example, you're not allowed to have an abortion for sure. You are also not allowed to do IVF. Only people who are in couples are allowed to adopt. And so we're following multiple women from different angles. I think we follow a girl who just finds out that she's pregnant and she's in high school. We follow a woman who's single and she's simultaneously trying to adopt and also trying to do IVF before this big law is passed. And it just sounded really interesting. As someone going through IVF, I'm just really drawn to this kind of storyline. This sounds like definitely a dystopia. In my world, this could be the end of my journey to have a child, you know? So very, very disturbing, but it sounds really wonderful. I've heard great, great things. I think Harriet Rosie just read this a couple of months ago, and she really loved it. So very happy to dive into this. Now, finally, I am also hoping to read The Book of Negroes by Lawrence Hill. This book has just been calling out to me ever since I picked it up. And this book, we're following a girl who is kidnapped from her home in Africa, and she is sent to America to become a slave. This is a piece of Canadian literature, and I know just around me, I remember so many people reading this when it had come out, and I just never did. And so I would really like to do that now, and I feel like reading it. I've been staring at my shelves, and this is the book that calls out to me the most, I would say. So those are all of the books I'm hoping to read in June. You know me, this might change up. I might read none of these, but we shall see. I hope that you guys are doing well. Let me know in the comments below if you have any books that you're hoping to read this June, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye guys.